Right, got an update. Things are moving on. I'm still in like accommodation. We've got the COVID-19. The house I was moving into, it all fell through. So I'm staying at South Catering accommodation, which is obviously empty because people aren't coming over to stay in there. And they've given me use of the workshop, which is great. Which I think I'd be an alcoholic by now if it wasn't for that. So we've got an update on the car. I just thought I'd walk you through it and talk you through it and explain what's going on. It's getting there. We're moving on, which is good. Right, we've got normally I've got a compressor and a spray gun, so I do all my spraying that way. But because they're nice enough to let me stay in, this incredible workshop, I can't spray in here. It'll just bladder everything. I don't mind my garage and I'll polythene everything up, but I can't get the spray gun out, start putting paint all over the place on the floor. It just make a mess. So aerosols are a bit more contained. But unfortunately, we have got a slight colour issue here, where I don't know. It was the right code, and they made it locally and put the paint into aerosols. I did take some bit of the old bumper down for them to have a look at and to match it up to. But this is the code. But you've got to imagine the original paint is probably 30 years old, and I'm putting new paint to it. It's a rally car. I can put stickers on it. The bonnet was written off. It was bent. I didn't think there was any way it would straighten, but we managed to get it straight. Put some paint on it. It's an obvious different colour. There's some scratching in it as well, which, I think also with my spray gun, the primer filler would have filled a lot of them scratches and you wouldn't have noticed them. I've not painted like this before with an aerosol, not for a long time anyway. And it does show every mark. Preparation has got to be really good, which I think mine hasn't. But it's a rally car, it's going to get crashed. I don't want to go over the top and spend a week painting a bonnet when I can just paint a tiny fraction of it in a couple of hours. So that way, if I crash it again, I can straighten it again, I can paint it again, and I'm not going to be too upset. If it's mint and I've spent a week on a bonnet, I'm going to be upset if I crash it. Now the bumper was black, that's been painted. We've got the actual black trim was painted with trim paint. Fiberglass wings, they're on and they've been painted. I've de-stickered. I don't know where that's from, but I don't know what I'll do with that. The stickers are great. They get rid of all sorts of problems. If we go around this side, I've been de-stickering it. There's glue residue on it. I'm gonna have to, you can see where the stickers were. I might try, I've got some sticky stuff remover in my store, but I don't know where it is. Everything's just been chucked in my store. We had a few in, when I say me, the Tech 2 spoiler, I was a bit keen. Could have done a bit more preparation, but it'll do. I'm happy. I'm not too fussy. I will give it a once over with the. I've got some rubbing compound and a mop, so I will give it a once over with that. It's as far as I got last night with taking the stickers off, so I've got a few more to go. These will come off. These are the worst stickers to remove. I don't know if they're reflective or something, but they look slightly different. So they are coming off in tiny little bits. I do use the heat gun. That helps. And on these stickers, they'll come off in one. So it's not too bad, and that will come off. I'm going to have to put heat on it, and the roof. I did like the stickers on this, but obviously they're not my sponsors. So they've got to go. These are easy enough. The trouble is, every time you pull a sticker off, you notice there's a dent or a mark, or the wheel arches. There was issues with this arch being too far over. It's been pushed out now. This was probably 50 mil further in, which was causing the wheels to rub. So I presume the arches were rolled to get over that. But what a mess. I don't know, yeah. I'd have to do something with that. I'd have to go and try and get some paint that's the same colour as the car. I mean, the rear spoiler doesn't look out of place. It looks, you can get away with that being the same colour. But I'm not painting the whole rear quarter. I'll have to just touch that bit up, so I will need to get some paint that's a little bit closer to the colour. If they're making it anyway, they can make it. They can. I'll ask them to just go down a shade with the colour. Inside, been cutting bits of the wiring out. There's all that goes to computer control. That's gone. Everything's in. Everything works as far as I know. I won't know everything until the engine fires up. But that's not a million miles away now. I've taken the fuel tank out. I've drained all the fuel out of it and filled it with white vinegar. So that's all been bunged up. It's half full of white vinegar, and I've left it in my van. So when I'm driving around, it's swilling it about and cleaning everything out. So that'll be, because it was sitting in a field for a couple of years, it had got surface rust inside the tank, and they're quite hard to get to. The airbox wouldn't fit. This airbox was made in the other car, which didn't have the servo or the master cylinder here. It had a pedal box inside the car, so there's loads more space. So this fits all right. So I don't know if you can see the trumpet in here. I'll have to notch a bit more round and try and fiberglass to seal the airbox. On my other car I can run open throttles. I don't need an airbox, but this, because it's got the standard ECU, it needs to run. It's not an airflow meter, it's an air mass sensor or something that connects the end to meter the air, so it lets it know how much air is going, so it'll all run. I'm not going to the hassle of making a new loom and fitting an aftermarket ECU, getting it mapped. It's all money, and this engine is not going to be staying in this car. It's just I know it's a good engine, it's just to get it up and running. I don't even know what I'm doing with the car. I'm toying with the idea of asking if I can keep it up there on the shelf. So it's there, but who knows? I don't know. We don't know what's going on yet. We don't know what's happening. Yeah, so basically that's where I'm up to with the car and progress. Clutch is working. I've got the smallest fluid reservoir that you can get. It looked a lot bigger in the picture. I thought it was strange being so cheap at £6. Yeah, I thought this is the pipe that comes from the slave cylinder, no, the master cylinder, above the clutch pedal. I thought it went to the connection on the side of the fluid reservoir for the brakes, but no, it doesn't. It does on the e36s because that's all on this side, so it would just go directly down onto the clutch. But obviously, on they were predominantly left-hand drive. Now, the way I did the clutch, because they can be a right nightmare to bleed, I made up a pipe to run from the master cylinder to the slave cylinder. There's rubber hose on it for any movement. Then I used this oil can, which, when it was brand new, it's only ever been used for brake fluid. So I filled it with brake fluid, put the flexible hose onto the bleed nipple and pumped the fluid until it came up into the reservoir. And that way it pumps all the air upwards, air wants to go up. Did the bleed nipple up, clutch pedal works, got a clutch. I've done it before where you have to pump and pump and pump and it just takes forever and bleeding, and they can be a real pig, but that seems to be the easiest way of doing it. That's done. The prop shaft's off at the moment. I've been making a bracket for the back of the gear stick housing. So under these two bolts there's a bit of metal that goes across, and it's got a bit of play in it for the tail of the gear linkage to sloss into. I mean, it's quite crude down there. I've got to get a bit of aluminium or something. The gearbox that was in this car had the gear stick a lot further forward, so I'm just going to have to fill this up, make it airtight. But yeah, I've done the electric power steering works now. That's all connected up. That's got the variable adjuster on it, so it's all the Corsa power steering, which, you know, they're 50 quid on eBay. A bit of a pain to fit, but this was already on it, so I've just wired it up and it all works okay. Just sorting out where the switches are going to go. We've got a horn wire, high beam take-off for the relay for the spotlight switch. Yeah, the ignition that's the old ignition feed, but this is the new one that goes to the engine isolator, which is an electronic one that's under the dash. I've got a few more wires to get rid of and tidy up, but I'm not overly fussed about that. That'll come as and when. Yeah, I think we're not a million miles away. We've got the swell tank. I can't remember where I bought it. It's to stop fuel starvation, which I do suffer from badly on the other car. It's just got a small tank with an outlet right at the bottom, inlets. I've got this it will fit there, but I don't really want it at the front of the car. If you do have a crash, it's going to be susceptible to damage. So that will go in the boot. I'll seal the rear. Oh, that's full of rubbish. I'll seal the rear bulkhead, and that can go in here. We've got lift pumps, which will go. These came with the car, so that will draw the fuel up from the fuel tank into the swell pot, which will be in here somewhere. And I've ordered a Bosch high pressure fuel pump. That will be in the boot as well, and take the fuel to the injector rail. And then after the injector rail, we'll have the adjustable fuel pressure regulator. So at the well, it was previously running at 3 bar, and that seemed to be where it operated the best. But what I want to do is get an air fuel ratio meter to plug into the Lamba, or use its own Lamba. So as I'm driving it, I can see if it's rich or lean, and I can adjust it with the fuel pressure regulator. I mean, it's not ideal. Remapping it would be the best bet, but that's £500. Well, I don't know anyone locally who can get into the standards ECUs. So I'll just do it so it runs safe, runs well. It's a standard engine with throttle bodies on. It's not going to be the fastest thing, but it will sound the part, it'll look the part, and I don't even know if I'll be using this car. I do like it though. It is growing on me, and it's going to be a car altogether, ready to go, and with the possibility of fitting another engine in the future. We'll see. I've got my other car to use, so I'll use that for now. This can just get, we'll sort it out somehow.